Here we have the Dyson Direct Drive, which comes with your Dyson V6, 7, 8, 10 and 11, depending on where you live and what model you bought. So to open up, we need to open this part. So I'm using a coin. You can use a guitar pick, coin, or screwdriver, or flathead screwdriver, whatever you want to use. So generally when you open up, it should pop out. But if it doesn't pop out, it's probably because it's old and stuck. You have to move it, pull it out to get it out. So just turn it quarter of a clockwise, and the other head comes off, just like that. You can't go wrong because only one side will work. One side's empty, one side isn't. Next, we need to remove 2 screws on the wheels. These 2 screws are your Phillips head screwdrivers. So after you remove the 2 screws, we now need to change to our Torque T8 screwdriver to remove the 2 screws underneath it. I'm trying to show you here. If you can't see it, or I'm just telling you it's Torque T8, so you just believe me. Now that we remove these 2 screws, we need to remove the center screw. There's a screw under here. If yours is new, you're going to have a warranty sticker here. It says do not remove. You need to peel back the warranty sticker. Since mine is old, the warranty sticker has worn out and just peeled off itself over time. There's also 2 screws here. This is on the neck of the product. These 2 screws are also T8 as well. After removing that, we have to remove a screw here on the plastic cover. This is why we removed the wheel out, or the brush head. This screw is also T8. If you haven't used yours for a while, you might have dirt all over it and you won't be able to see it. So it's actually a bit difficult to see if you haven't cleaned yours in a while. Next, you're going to need to get a flathead screwdriver to pry this part open. So there's actually tabs here that you can put your screwdriver in to lift up. Please note, if your head is older, you might not have this part. So only the newer models have this. The older ones don't actually have this. So once you pry this out, you can actually put it back in by going in diagonally, and it clips back in by pushing it back down. We need to remove this as there's screws underneath. Please note you also can remove this as well by sliding it. There's actually grooves or rails that allows this to slide in and out. It's recommended that you do remove this if you have it, as over time dirt gets stuck in it. Now that we remove the flipper thing, we have to remove 2 screws. These are T8 screws. Please note, I'm struggling to put my attachment neck back. It's because I pulled it out too much and it's been misaligned. That's why it doesn't go back in properly. Now you remove those screws, you can remove this part. This part allows you to see the wires underneath. You can just lift it up after you remove the screws and it just comes up. And to put it back down, you just align it correctly and it goes back down. This is why we have to remove the screw underneath the neck. Is because you can move this part back and forward. It stops you from removing that cover. So just to show you there, it goes out and in. So if you don't remove the screw, you won't be able to pull it back. Next, you're going to have to remove these 3 screws here. These 3 screws are T8s. Once that's removed, we now can lift up the plastic part, the plastic clear part. So by lifting it up, it just comes up like this. Remember, you have to remove your cable. If you don't remove your cable, it just gets in the way. Please note, do not remove this black strip. If you remove this black strip, you will not be able to put it back. So do not remove it, and if you clean it, please make sure you clean in a way that this doesn't fall off. If you happen to remove it already, that's too bad. It's not the end of the world. It just allows the vacuum to be more sealed. But if you already removed it, then it's too bad. My neck attachment fell off during the removal. Generally, it doesn't fall off for you guys if you leave it properly. I just need to readjust it to make sure it goes back in properly. Now, to put it back, you need to align the neck with the holder. Remove the string back. Place the plastic on top. And put a finger in to lift up the motor, as it needs to align for you to close the plastic on top. So the best way is to put your hand inside the hole, lift it up, align it correctly, and once you push it down, you can let go of your hand, and it should hold in place. So to remove the motor needs to come out diagonally like it is. To put it back, you have to put it back diagonally, as there's actually like rails or clips or whatever you want to call that need to slide in place. So that's why it has to go diagonally in, and once it goes diagonally in, you can then put it straight. Just show you, so here's the clips that or the rail that it needs to go into. Once you insert it in there, then it will secure it, you can say. Please note it does have a gap on top. That's where you put your hand in and lift it up, but that's how it actually is. So here's the part where you have to slide the motor into. There's one on each side. Remember to move the cables out of the way, and once you put it back in, you need to route the cables back properly. So now I'm going to demonstrate how to remove the wheels. A few people have asked me how to remove the wheel as they get hair stuck in it. So you're going to need your flathead screwdriver, something. You're going to poke into the hole. You want to poke into the hole towards the center. You're going to get your hammer to knock it out. Once it pops out like this, you can pry it up, or you might need to knock it more, depending on your situation. So we need it to stick up diagonally. Once it sticks up diagonally, you can get your tweezers and pull out the stick that sticks up diagonally. So once you remove the stick, the wheel can now come out. To put it back, you put the stick back in the wheel. Don't put it all the way in, just put it a bit so it holds. You put the wheel back in the hole, and you need to push the stick back into its slot. Once it's in the slot that holds it on one end, you now have to knock it in. So mine's fell out. So you want to put it back in diagonally. There's a hole on that on the outer side, so you need to guide it into that hole. Once you guide it into that hole, you now need to knock down the inner side that's sticking up. So you can either use your tool to push it back in. It might actually be difficult, and you probably need to be careful as the amount of pressure you need to put on it. If you slip, you're probably going to stab yourself. So now it's actually in properly. Now we're going to reassemble everything. So we start off with the base first. We're going to get the motor and the neck. You have to put the motor in diagonally so it fits into the rail. Once the motor's in, we need to align the neck properly. We're now going to put our clear cover on. Remember to remove your wires out and guide your wires back into the slot properly. So once you guide your wires into the slot, you can put your plastic cover in. Remember, you might have to lift up the motor from the inside with your finger so it can go in properly. Now we need to lift it up slightly again to put the neck in. When you put the neck in, make sure you rotate it to ensure that nothing's blocking the way and that it can spin freely. So now I'm just going to rerun the wire. Next we're going to put our back cover on. Remember to leave this open, so pull it back, or else your back cover can't go on. Once your back cover goes on, then you can slide up forward. We're going to flip it around so we can put all our screws back in. So we're going to put our 3 screws in the front, which are T8s, Torque T8 screws. We're now going to put 2 screws in behind the I guess flipper, and there's the center screw, the little small one that holds the plastic clear cover in. Remember, you might have to lift the bottom up so the screw can actually screw in, or you have to like press on it, so therefore it tightens the gap. Here's our 2 screws that we have to put in on the left and the right side. These are also Torque T8 screws. We're going to put the center screw back in, and the screw on the left and right of the neck. So there's 2 screws which are Torque T8 on the left and right of the neck, and there's 1 screw in the middle which controls the neck from going forward and backwards. So remember to close your neck and put your screw back in, which is Torque T8. We're going to have to rotate the head and put the 2 screws behind the wheels, so 1 on each side, which are also Torque T8. We're going to align your screw hole. So I'll put my screw in before and it didn't go in because my where my red clip is and where the wheels are weren't aligned. Here's your red squeegee, flipper, I don't know what you want to call it. To put it back, you have to put it back in diagonally. And if you press it down, it'll clip in. Here's our cleaning head. Just going to push it back in to close it. Rotate it clockwise. We're going to put our wheels back in. The wheel has a Phillips head screw. And that's it. Thanks for watching.